Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And hello and welcome to episode 197 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. This show's been brought to you through the wonderful support of all of our Patreon supporters. You too can help support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month. Your contributions help with our hosting and production costs and are greatly appreciated. And of course, every paid Patreon member gets an OTB sticker as well. So that in itself is a reason to come along and support the show. And of course, we couldn't do what we do with the wonderful support of the Scale Model Supply. So let's hear from Scott about what the Scale Model Supply has for you.
Are you looking for top quality paints for your next project? Then look no further than the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's hobby paint. Hi, I'm Scott, and as a passionate modeler myself, I've spent years creating the SMS product range, designing them specifically with the Scale Modeler in mind. We have worked extensively to develop our acrylic lacquer paint range to not only be airbrush ready straight out of the bottle, but also to be easy to use so that anyone of any skill level can create professional results with minimal effort. Just give the bottle a good shake, pour into your airbrush and spray at 15 psi. So dive into your next project with confidence, knowing that you're backed by one of the finest hobby paints on the market. Head over to our website at scalemodeler.com.au to check out our full range and to find your closest retailer.
And hello, welcome to the show. And in the studio with me, I've got Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day listeners.
And Julian, of course, is here with us.
Yes, I am.
Not for much longer.
Yeah, I'm going overseas.
Yeah, but he'll be back.
I'll be back.
Where are you off to?
South Korea.
Over to Korea to check out your squeeze.
Yes.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Hopefully check out some models too.
Well, it's a home of AFV Club.
A few other
No,
things
that's
as well.
Taiwan.
Oh, is that Taiwan?
Yeah, that's Taiwan.
What's
Academy.
Korea then? Academy.
Yes, Academy. It's
Yeah.
really unfortunate, isn't it?
You should, have you timed it to go to a model show over there?
No, I haven't looked at times and stuff like that. It was an afterthought, you know.
Dude.
Oh well.
You should have.
Well, I was supposed to go over there like earlier in the year, and it didn't work out.
South Korean shipbuilders,
They're pretty freaking talented fellas.
talented is not the word. They are off the chart.
Yes.
They are just absolutely amazing, especially the seascapes and everything they do. And yeah.
Yeah, the water effects.
Yeah.
They're actually not that big on the actual ship, are they? They're actually bigger on the water effects than the actual overall.
I don't know. They're pretty good on the shipbuilding side of stuff. I mean, you know, they'd hold their own in any international competition.
Like I've seen some guys from over there, some modelers who they'll do like a number of ship diagrams, and then they'll do like I think there's one of a Humvee that's going through water.
Yes.
Not a Humvee. It's one of those like modern insurgency vehicles or whatever it is, and it's going through like a water crossing because that's their thing, water.
Yeah, water.
Rather than the actual model itself.
What else do they mainly build? Have they got it like a genre? They build everything over there. I don't know much about the Korean modelling scene.
They regularly win a lot of the Gunpla World Cup
do they?
event stuff. Yeah, they kill it for that. And there's also that one guy who does all the sci-fi busts and figure painting, and he sculpts them and then sells them, or sculpts them for sale. You know, for like they get manufactured after that point.
Yes. So there was some.
I forgot his name. I can't remember his name.
I'm trying to remember the company name. I've got a few of their figures, and they come from South Korea. They're really nice work.
One of the things I want to see when I'm over there is the, I think it's like 1/4 or 1/6 scale turtle ship.
Yeah,
that they've got in like a museum. Yeah.
That would be
really
so cool.
Whereabouts is that? Do you know?
I can't. I've got it written down and everything.
Yeah. There you go.
So anyway, Ian, how you been?
Yeah, not bad. Busy with life as usual.
Been building anything?
No, I just don't have time these days.
Have you bought anything?
This week I haven't, no. But I do know the Holden Tirana A9X is coming out the next few weeks.
Now, we saw a Tirana last night.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
that was an A9X, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I saw one the other day at the local service station painted up in Peter Brock
No,
colours.
dude. We saw a model last night.
Yeah, someones already got it.
They're already out.
got
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Ah, well, there you go.
Ben in our club, yeah, he's got one and he's already working on it.
Mhm.
It was good to see like it in the flesh.
Yeah.
One thing that I noticed that sort of stuck to me when I was looking at the plastic in front of me is that the detail around the windows on the sides of the model are very, very crisp detail, you know.
Oh, cool.
You know how like generally there's like the various
soft,
little
yeah.
steps and things. It's
Yeah.
not quite so fleshed out and sharp.
Mhm.
This was very sharp.
Oh, cool. Well, can't wait to get my hands on one.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
What you been up to, Julian?
I bought 2 kits.
Ooh.
I bought 2 British cars.
Oh, there you go. Okay, the one was a Jag.
Yes, one is the Jag. I've been meaning to build that for a while though.
Which model Jag?
It's the E-Type coupe version, not the soft top version.
Yep. It's
Which-
going to go green, I gather. Traditional E-Type green.
No, I'm going to do the other one green.
What's the other one you got?
Mini Cooper.
The old style, I gather.
Yeah, 1997 model,
Right.
which is still the old Mini, not the modern Mini.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the one where they've sort of at that point sort of got the idea of like this is how minis should look,
Mhm.
classic minis should look,
Yep.
and then all they've done is just put mini lights on it and like put little fender flares on it. So it's a tasteful modern-ish interpretation of the classic Mini.
The classic Mini. Yes.
Yeah.
That'll
So it's
be-
got some white stripes on the front of it, and that's about it. You know, the
no
classic
British flag on the roof.
No, and just round the round headlights, not that stupid, horrible square fronted version. You know,
Oh yeah.
no one likes that.
No, it's like 1980s Mustangs.
You know what? Those are getting popular again.
I don't know why.
The Fox Body Mustang, because they're really lightweight.
I suppose because they're cheap and no one wants
Yeah,
them.
exactly. They're super cheap because, like, people who do drifting, they go through cars, right?
Yes, that they do.
And they're constantly fixing them, and those cars are cheap, available. No one cares, No one's keeping them in very great condition. But
No, not at all.
And yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well, that was a bad faux pas. Anyway.
Classic.
Yeah.
We're so professional here.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
they're
know.
actually coming up in popularity again, and so people are going, "Oh, do you want to get this one or this one? This is one of the notchback ones because there's one with it's sort of like a hatch, but there's one that's more like a coupe or something. I don't know. I don't know the differences, but I know that they're getting popular again.
I suppose someone has to like them. Not my cup of tea.
Well, I mean, I think because people remember them looking lackluster in their era.
Oh, they were.
But now no one can remember what era that was. So now it's sort of judged in isolation, so to
Right.
speak.
Yes.
And now it's just like, okay, well, it's a nice boxy shaped car, and
Yeah, never been a fan of the boxy shaped cars.
really, I love angular sort of shaped cars.
Nah, not for me.
One thing I've noticed as a car enjoyer is that
car enjoyer, not a car enthusiast, but a car enjoyer.
yeah, I like saying enjoyer. Is that cars will go like all rounded shaped, and then they'll slowly morph in styling to boxy, sharp, angular shapes, and then back again. Because that's really the whole spectrum of that's all there is.
Yeah.
And you've just got a spectrum of that, and it just goes backwards and forwards.
It's funny, while Julie and I are chatting, Dave's online at B&A Model World doing some shopping.
I was just trying to bring up the stuff that I bought. So I thought I'd bring it up, and because I purchased Trumpeter 135th scale NASAMS, which is a Norwegian advanced surface to air missile system.
All right.
And of course, the Australian.
It's a box.
Well, yeah, it is. But the Australian Defence Force have taken this up now, and also the other thing that I purchased was the. It's not the Mylars. What's the other one?
HIMARS.
HIMARS.
You're
That's
the
right.
one telling the story.
Yeah. So we're getting about 30 units of them, and it just came back in stock. So I grabbed one of them because Australia's also purchasing them.
Right.
So I grabbed one of them the other day as well. So
And what did you just purchase? What did you just purchase? Put in your...
Well, as we're talking, this thing came up. It's a in 70-second scale, a Japanese
Sushi
suki kayuya.
Shiki Kayako.
You're terrible at this.
I know. Rocket to wear ram missiles, which must be a
Looks to me like a what if sort of thing.
yeah.
It's like a rocket that's shaped like an American football.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
with a
It's got
big
wings
massive
on it,
tail
yeah.
on it.
It's going to be tiny in 70-second scale, but I thought, yeah, that looks cool. I'm going to grab that while I'm here listening to you guys gibber on.
Gibber on.
Gibber on.
Because we talk about cars. And you're not interested at all.
The only issue I've got, not the issue, the only thing I'm curious about in regards to the HIMARS that I bought is...
Localization type stuff.
Yeah, so Australia normally does the Aussie camo pattern to all of our military vehicles, and I'm wondering whether the HIMARS are going to get the same. The exception to that is our Chinooks. Our Chinooks are just plain green,
Yes.
or olive drab, I should say.
Well, I'll then hang off building it till you know for sure.
Yeah, it's true.
Not as if you got any other projects.
Well, that's true also, yeah. Well,
Oh, one thing I'll interject, going back to cars. I found someone that does the 5-slotters from your GTs.
yes.
Yes, Maury's Customs. You can find him on Facebook.
who are they and where is he?
They're on
again?
Facebook. I don't know where they are, but they're on Facebook. Maury's Customs.
Oh,
He
very
does a lot of
cool.
wheels.
Yeah.
And these 3D printed 5-slotters just look amazing. Multiple pieces, so you can.
Yeah,
paint
there's like
the
6-7 pieces,
You
I
can
think.
paint the chrome section separate and to the actual wheel. The red line that goes around the tyre is a separate piece on the 3D printed tyre.
That's so cool. That's the best
just
part.
looks amazing. And he's got some nice wheels coming out for the A9X. So if anyone wants to build the A9X with the spokey flat wire wheels, makes them as well. It makes a lot of great stuff by the looks of it. So I'll be spending some money on.
You were showing me it earlier while we were eating, and I was really impressed with the way he's broken it down to parts.
Yeah, looks freaking
Where he's
amazing.
like there's the separate there's like a little chrome trim that runs around the rim.
Yep.
That's
And
a separate piece.
part.
There's the chrome disc in the center.
Yep.
That's a separate piece. Then you
And
got
he's also got the wheel nuts.
he's got separated wheel nuts.
No, wheel nuts are on the actual main rim
Okay.
on the center section.
Yeah.
So you can, like, if you want to build a Bathurst one, but didn't have the caps on it.
All right. Yes, I get you. I
you
get
have
you.
to put the caps
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
You
You
already got
wouldn't
the
have
wheel
the
nuts
caps.
sitting there.
Nice. That's
But,
cool.
yeah.
I like that.
That's really cool.
Well, it also means you can leave off the chrome rim because that's probably not on the Bathurst one either, is it?
That's correct.
It's the kind of thing that would go
I think
flying off.
Yeah, yes.
You know, and you see it like tumbling down the road.
Or unless you went like Bob Brown and you do that big rollover on the Amco railing. How that guy walked away from that accident, no one knows.
I actually finished a model.
Yes,
finished
you
the
did.
model.
I saw it.
Yes.
I mean,
So-
you finish molds quite often, so...
I do. I just forget to talk about them.
Well, it's been a while since you built a ship.
It has, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. We've got our Interclub, which is this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for those listeners who don't know what Interclub is, it's a gathering of about 5, 6, 7 local clubs within Melbourne. And
We duke it out.
yes, you have to build a kit within 4 hours.
Yes.
And it's you don't know what kit it's going to be. You get there, and at 10 o'clock in the morning, they just drop a brown paper bag on your desk and on your table, and you open it up and find out what kit you get to build. But as well as that, each club has to bring 2 cars, 2 armour, 2 aircraft,
Two miscellaneous.
2 miscellaneous. And about 5 months prior to the event, the clubs are also given 2 kits which they have to build to submit and in our case, it was a armour kit.
Well, it should be like the kits are the same for every club.
Yes, correct.
These two kits.
One was an armour kit. Do you want to think it's a...
I can't remember what the
I
armor
can't
kit
remember what it
was.
was. And they also gave a ship kit out, which was a 1/350 scale trumpeter
tribal class.
And I built mine, and I actually weathered it. The first time I ever weathered the ship.
Well done, Dave.
And yeah, it looks all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going all right.
Well, I mean, I'll rather than looking at this photo on the screen, I'll just go to the next room and have a look at it later.
I love the bright greens.
Yeah, it's an interesting camouflage pattern. I might. I have posted it on. No, I haven't posted it on our.
No, I haven't seen photos of it.
I've always been a fan of that sort of.
You got to do a traditional photo where you just stick it on a chair and then take a photo.
Traditional day photo.
Traditional day photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I've got to up my photography skills. I really do. And,
No kidding.
But yeah,
You're really laying into him today.
it's, you know, you've only got the capacity to be good at so many things. And
That's
photography is one of those things that it's just, for me, it's just point and shoot.
I think you can get away with using a phone in this day and age.
Well, that's what I've been using.
Yeah, you just need to put some effort into
The background.
a background
Yeah.
and some decent lights,
Yeah.
or preferably 2 lights
Yeah.
is what you should probably pick.
Just get a little fold away photo tent.
Well, how are you going to put a rocket in there to take a photo
That's
of that?
yeah. See,
that's photo tents are great if you're doing like tanks and maybe Gundams and, you know, semi-second and 48 scale.
Like they come in different sizes, but they're usually not that big. I think the biggest ones you can get are the biggest average one you can get for cheap is like 40 by 40 by 40, right?
Yeah.
Centimeters, not inches.
What? Tents?
Yeah,
Oh, mine's a meter.
yours is a meter.
Yours is a meter.
Yeah, and it's a fold
Well-
away jobby.
A meter's pretty big, but that's still not that big because you don't want to get the sides in the shot, right?
Because when I bought mine, it also came with like different backdrops, like felt material, but with like a plasticky background.
Yeah,
On the other side.
and they're usually reversible. Yeah.
Yeah, and for the bigger projects that won't fit in there, I just made up a frame, and then I just hooked this backdrop onto the frame.
See,
Then I just put my lights around it. And
I bought a proper backdrop. That's kind of like a blanket, I guess you could say.
Yep.
And it's way bigger than I'll ever need it to be. But if I ever
You never know.
yeah, exactly. I mean, like some point I might have to shoot a fairly large boat, maybe. So at that time, you don't want to have to. I have to go out and buy a backdrop just for this one.
Just this one kit, yeah.
Yeah, so I may as well just oversize it and it'll be fine.
Good thinking. Very good.
You can
thinking.
borrow it if you want to ever shoot the Chicago.
It's big enough for the Chicago, is it?
Probably.
Oh, cool.
You got to fix that deck though. Before
Yeah, I've
you
got to fix the
finish.
deck and a few other little issues that need fixing.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about just injecting glue with a syringe?
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as long as you've thought about it.
I have thought about it. I've had that mentioned to me a few times, actually.
Okay.
And in other news, I'm actually going to do a diorama.
Oh.
What?
Yes.
What?
I was just walking through Bunnings the other day, happened to be looking for something else, and I saw something and I went, and it was like the clouds parted and a big ray of sunshine came down and lit up my head. And what are you two laughing at?
I was getting a visual.
Lit up just your head,
You know how it shines on your face, like out of anyway, like out of the Blues Brothers, where he's
like
in the church.
Yeah. It shines on your face like someone, like a cop comes around the corner and shines a flashlight in your face and goes, "What are you doing here? Get out of there!"
Anyway, anywho, so, and I'm not going to say what it is. I want to build it first, and then show.
Okay.
And yeah,
Any hints?
none.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Thanks for teasing
the
us for
only
no
hint
reason.
I'm going to give is 1/350 scale.
Okay.
All right.
That's the only hint I'm going to
You know
give.
what's happened? He's gone into Bunnings and he's found a container and he's gone, "Oh, that'd be all right."
Yeah.
What do you mean a container? What?
Like a container, like something that he can use as a diorama face. You know,
No.
Fill it with resin.
Something
seen
along
resin.
those lines.
Dave's going to do a waterline.
No. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to give it away. It's just the only thing.
Well, you've already given away a lot.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you've given away that it's 1/350. That can only mean a ship.
Oh, it could be a spacecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a very inspiring. Yeah,
It could be a spaceship.
it could be, but I doubt it will be.
Oh well, you'll just have to
Well,
wait.
you think he's gone in there and found some PVC tube, going, "Oh, I'll make a rocket."
No, I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm not saying.
That's why I've
else.
got it. I'm calling it now. It's a ship.
I'm not saying anything else. Nothing, nada. All right, let's move on to a few news items. First of all, on the back of our last episode, which was a bonus episode, which I spoke to Peter Davis, the president of the Scale ACT.
Yep.
Entries online registration is now open.
Woohoo.
So to register your model, you're going to visit the online registration page, and that is www.actsms.asn.au. Click on that one, and that'll take you through to the where you can register. So it's going to be awesome.
It's a great show.
Oh, we're so excited about it. We can't wait to get there. Registration closes at midnight on Thursday, the 7th of November. And the online form is the only way to enter the competition this year. So no in-person registration is going to be available at the show on the weekend. So please tell your mates who travel to ACT for the comp that they don't want people to be disappointed. So get in there now and register. And also the official Scale ACT dinner is on, and registrations are open for that.
So you can have a nice succulent Chinese meal.
Succulent Chinese meal. Ed and I did that the first time we went, and we can vouch that the food there
is amazing.
It's absolutely sensational.
It's really good.
It's really, really good. So if you've never been before, and it's a great way of meeting a whole heap of people. Places are only limited to 55, so you've got to get in quick and book. So again, go to Scale ACT 2024 Facebook page, and all the details are there in regards to how you enter online, how you get to the show, and all the rest of it.
And where is it? Thoroughbred Park in Lyneham.
9th and 10th of November. Ian, you need to make a note because you still haven't applied for leave yet.
Yep. I'll do that over the weekend.
We actually got...
I just persuaded him into bringing a model along for it.
He did last year.
Yeah, but I haven't built anything this year.
Oh.
So he had nothing to bring. But I said, why don't you bring one of your old ones?
Yeah, bring one of your old ones.
Yeah, I will.
I wonder if my diorama will be ready for the show. Oh, yes.
I have to get a move on
I'm
then.
going to get a move on. All right, I'm really excited now. I got something. Okay, great. Yes. All right. Stop gibbering now.
Oh, good.
Rightio. Let's move on to mail.
Mailbag.
We got quite a bit of mail in, actually. But before I do that, I've got to say this. We're at episode 197 as we're recording.
Right.
I thought it was 198 because of the bonus episode.
No, you don't count the bonus episode.
Oh, okay.
So that's like a freebie.
Yeah, otherwise they wouldn't be bonuses.
That's right.
Yes.
So this is episode 197. We're fast coming up on episode 200. And the three of us have got no idea what we're going to do to celebrate that 200th episode.
Oh, we can get you to build a 200 scale model.
No. So I want to reach out to our wonderful listeners out there to come up with some suggestions as to what we can do for our 200th episode. Send your suggestions to us via email onthebench64@gmail.com, or just go along to our Facebook page and leave a message there, or do a direct message to us. However, you want to get to us, reach out to us, do it. But we need to figure out what the heck we're going to do for our 200th.
Yeah.
I mean, for 100th, I don't think we
did anything.
No, we did. We reached out to all the other podcasts, and they came on and joined us, and we ran about 3 or 4 shows. It was like a month celebration.
Yeah.
So, I've got no idea what we're going to do. So, please give us your suggestions.
Yes.
Go on, you're going to say something, Julian, aren't you?
No, I actually don't have
You
anything.
get that look on your face.
I was just thinking like maybe someone could send Dave a 200 scale model.
No.
Because look how upset he's getting about it.
No.
Do you think, Dave? Free model kit?
No, I do not need a 200 scale model kit.
Doesn't Revell do like a space station in some weird scale?
Yeah, they do, but...
What scale's that?
I don't know. It's not 200 scale.
Well, it's not 72nd scale, which is your scale, right?
I don't know. Maybe it is. The International Space Station. I know. Yeah. I don't know. I have to think about that.
You should really think about some way to do the space station.
No,
No?
not interested.
You're not interested in the space station?
No, because how do you
I thought
display...
you liked real space.
I do, but it's an awkward model once it's built, and where you display it, how you display it, it's... Yeah.
On a stick.
No, you can't just... It's...
Well, hey, you can't just leave it on a table.
Well, no, you can't. Yeah.
You have to put on a stick.
Yeah, I know, but no, I don't know.
And a little planet Earth behind it.
No.
So even to me, who just considers it, okay, it's a bunch of pipes painted white with some...
If I had pearls, I'd be clutching them right now.
Yeah,
How
but like
dare you say
as a
that, you
model,
heretic?
it's just a bunch of pipes, with solar panels, right? But I still think it's a cool model.
It is a cool model, but
if you...
they're hard to get too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think there's one at the Hobby Man, isn't there? I think there might be. But in any case, it's not your scale, is it? And
No.
how big would it be in 72nd scale?
I don't know.
It'd be quite large.
It'd be like a meter by a meter by a meter by half a meter or
don't
something.
know about that big.
It'd be pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm having a quick look now. Yeah, this is by Revell.
1/44.
144 scale. There you go. $239.
There you go.
That's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. See, I reckon something like that, if you could, you would want to build it out of, say, like you could get it 3D printed in resin with, sort of like brass fittings to make sure everything doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it looks quite fragile, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the thing about building in space. You don't really have to worry about forces.
Yeah, no, it's
True.
just, yeah.
But it's cool, isn't it?
I know it's cool, but yeah, it's how you display it, and that's the whole thing you got to consider. You can't just buy a model and go, "Oh, that's cool," and then just sit in your stash for like 20 years.
Why? That's what I do.
I guess you can, but yeah. You're going to consider how you're going
Most
to
of my
display.
stuff-
Well, how you display it is on a stick, right? And you just need to make a little base for the stick to go on.
I don't even think it would fit in any of my display cabinets once it's built.
If it was in 72nd scale.
No, in 144 scale.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what are the dimensions?
It's pretty big.
I don't think it's that big. I think it's...
Well, I think you'll find it is. I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's get back to what we were supposed to be doing,
What are we supposed to be doing, Dave?
which is emails.
Mailbag.
Yeah, there we go. First one comes up from Wes Champ, who writes in, "Hi there, OTB boys. It's hard to say just when I started modelling or just what genre I would say I'm into. Perhaps it's best for me to slot into the world of Modellers Without Borders." Very well done. From puppet carving to custom Lego creations through to model rocketry and then onto 3D printing and design, I pretty much just love making stuff. If I can imagine it, chances are you will find me in the shed working out some way to turn it into a tactile thing.
Cool.
Congratulations. Well
Very cool.
done. With all that said, it was only a matter of time before my world crossed paths with you guys. The truth is, I first came across you from my love of MAK. The weirdest of stories on this one, during a recent trip to Japan, I was set on digging up some more MAK models, and late one night I found myself looking up tips and tricks on YouTubes, and yet, you guessed it, imagine my surprise when I saw one Lincoln Wright speaking Aussie lingo around models that I have long loved. One thing led to another, and after stalking Mr. Wright, I landed on one of his many appearances on your show, and boom, you guys now fill the airspace on my long travels to work. I wouldn't say that I'm a hardcore scale modeler. I just build models of things that I reckon are cool, mainly sci-fi, MAK and rockets. And modelling is just one of the many things that I do. Something has been digging away at me and I simply have to ask. Mr. Dave, you keep mentioning your love of rocket models and a man so connected to stuff such as yourself may find this a stupid question, so forgive me if it comes across as warped. I mentioned earlier that I do enjoy model rocketry, but it is on a slightly different slant to what I think you may refer to and enjoy. I design and build rockets to actually fly. Yep, modelling with the added bonus of seeing them launch in a flaming glory as they hit the very high and surprising altitudes. Then, if all goes well, they pop a chute and fall back to Earth nice and safe, ready for another flight. So, what he is actually saying there is that I should be getting into model rocketry.
Yeah, I reckon you should give it a go.
Because there is actually a subgenre of model rocketry in which it's scaled. So you actually have to build a scale model and then launch that. And in fact, if I go back to our recent Queensland show, there was a Soyuz rocket.
That's right.
That was actually a flying model he converted to a static model.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely model too, by the way.
Yes, much better than that Mach 2 thing you've got.
Yeah. Wes also mentions a podcast which is about the world of flying model rockets, which I've listened to. And he also says that if I ever want more info where I could start, he'd be happy to guide me on the weird yet cool world of flying model rockets. I actually have purchased model rockets in the past to fly them.
Oh, there you go.
And when my boys were younger, I used to go down and buy a couple and we'd just shoot them up in the sky and lose them into a tree or something. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Well, thanks, Wes.
Well, I think now is probably one of the better times for you to get into it, right?
Why?
Because, because our club's venue.
Yes. I wonder if you're allowed to launch rockets from there.
I'm sure if you talk to them about it.
Oh, you could actually go the next step and do like little land to air rockets.
Land to air rockets.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, when they have their flying days. But you get banned pretty quick.
Oh, you mean Sam surface to air missiles?
Yeah.
I'll get banned very quickly. Oh, jeez. All right. I got a quick email from Tiffany who wrote in and just wondering if we're going to be talking to Marissa soon, which we are.
Yeah,
we're going to catch up to Marissa in Canberra, so we'll be having her on the show up there.
It's awesome having a chat with her. She's
but
great.
She just let us know that Marissa placed third in the Sparmax airbrush competition with a Gundam. So
Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah.
Why does that not surprise me? Well done, Marissa.
Yeah, very well done.
She is one accomplished modeler.
I actually already knew that, but I just forgot about it.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Brad Belsham writes in.
Hey, good buddy, Brad.
Hey, boys, we're just listening to your latest podcast with the guys from Bases by Bill. They are also playing around with cobblestone bases, base sets laser engraved.
Ooh.
They gave Dr. Dave and me a couple of samples, and which he's placed his ugly tank on. And
it's a beautifully built.
It's
tank.
a lovely tank. I love it.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's a recovery vehicle.
It's a Sherman recovery vehicle. It's freaking awesome.
Yep.
It's a Resi-Car Sherman ARV Mark II, and it is ugly as sin.
It looks awesome. You got no taste, Dave.
I do have taste. Yeah. I do.
I don't know.
Anyway,
no, I don't know.
Yeah, you tell them.
At least with land vehicles, you got terrible taste. don't like cars.
I do like cars, but I just don't like building them.
Okay, if you say so.
How many have you built?
Yeah. None.
You like cars.
There you go. So there's your answer.
He likes cars, doesn't like building them. But what car does he own? A Renault.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
It's a Renault.
What's wrong with that?
If you don't know, then you guess you don't know.
I don't know. What do you... I'll have you know, this Renault has taken Ian and I up and back to Canberra
Look, there's only one Renault.
many times.
There's only two Renaults that I can give the pass to: Renault Alpine and the Renault 5 Turbo. Right?
Excuse me.
To be honest, I don't even call it a Renault. I just call it the Galileo.
My Renault has a turbo in it.
No. Not. This is the homologation one that made it for Group B.
Oh, well.
Okay. There's a bit chalk and cheese here.
Mr. Belsham, sorry to interrupt your email.
Yeah, sorry.
but,
Back on Brett Belsham.
It's Julian prattling on in the background
yes,
there.
background.
So anyway, he says, thanks for the show and keep up the great work. Thanks, mate. And all I can say to you is please start building prettier tanks because that one is ugly.
No, keep it up, Brad.
No, I think that's... I'm glad to see that Brad built that because that's quite a rare kit to see built. A lot of people fork out, something like $150 to $200 for that thing. It's extremely expensive. It's all resin. And it's even rarer to see one built.
Those Resi cast kits are really expensive, aren't they?
Yeah. And then people go, well, it's so expensive, I'll save it for a rainy day. And they stick it on a shelf and never build
gets
it.
built, yep.
Thomas J. Marcure writes in, good morning, Dave, Ian and Julian. I started listening to your show last year and I have listened to every episode.
Oh, wow.
This usually takes place while I'm on the bench. I never thought the first 10 were that bad. If I had, I probably would not have listened anymore. While I'm not a metalhead, I have to say that Ian's taste in movies is commendable.
See, told you.
Please. I'm thinking of Mad Max and The Enemy Below, which is one of my favourite movies. There is also a Star Trek episode in the original series titled Balance of Terror.
Yes.
It is a takeoff of Enemy Below with the Enterprise and a cloaking Romulan bird of prey.
Yes.
My real motivation for writing to you concerns John Miller at Model Paint Solutions. If possible, I'd like to give a shout out to John. I heard him on your show and decided to buy my new airbrush from him. I have to say that he is the real deal. He really goes out of his way to make sure you get what you need and that it works for you. I ordered a bunch of stuff from him and some of the items turned out to be redundant. He let me know that before shipping so I could take them out off the order.
Oh, that's really good, isn't it?
After interacting with John over several purchases, you quickly realise that he is not in it for the money. He truly wants to see people succeed with their painting and he goes out of his way to make sure that they do. Thanks for your consideration and keep up the good work. Tom McHugh
from Corona,
California, USA.
Awesome stuff.
Never take loyalty for granted.
Yeah.
That's an anonymous dog wrote that.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
And, well, we've actually had him on John Miller on the show before, and I know that the boys from I'm having a mental brain fade.
PPP?
No, those hillbillies.
Okay.
Plastic Posse.
Yes.
They have him on quite often, and he is the real deal.
He's a guru.
Yeah, and he puts the customer first, which is
rare these days.
Well, it's rare in 2025 when you're dealing with people, via email and online and all that. And so this email that we got from Thomas it's really heartwarming to see that the person that I thought or expected John to be is the person he actually is.
Yes.
So that's really wonderful to hear. So
yep, totally agree.
Wonderful. All right. Bruce Balfour writes in, good morning, evening or night, gentlemen.
Good morning to you too, Bruce.
I'd like to give you my appreciation to your show and all the topics, speakers and banter you continue to provide us in the modelling brethren. I had both the pleasure and honour of meeting you all at the 2019 Australian Model Show in Melbourne. The trip, whilst going solo with 2 children at home, not only expanded my desire, but also lightened my wallet and increased my luggage weight back to Sydney. Who knew that in a few short months we'd all be thrown into a brave new world by lockdowns and uncertainties? However, your consistent approach and connectivity through your podcast gave many hope and fresh vigour to continue modelling. Since those trying times and listening to your podcast on my daily commute, I find myself cheating on you, listening to our modelling brethren from far shores. Whilst I am getting more inspiration, I do miss the dulcet tone of David, Ian and Julian.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work and know that your podcast is more than just a day to catch up, but also a chance to speak out to the many. Thanks again for your show, but also for the effort you put into reaching those far and wide. Appreciatively, your humble listener, Bruce.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks,
Much-
mate. Really
much
appreciate
it, buddy.
Thank you.
And if you're from Sydney, I certainly hope that you're going to attempt to come down to Canberra.
Yeah, we'll have to catch up again.
That'd be really cool.
You know, when I watch Dave read these out, it's kind of like he's paraphrasing rather than actually reading it.
I do paraphrase some of the.
I mean, I understand like skipping like certain lines because you're just sort of cutting through to the essence of it.
Yeah.
But also, you're mispronouncing a lot of words, and
Do not mispronounce any words.
yeah,
Anybody who
Yes,
knows
you
me
do.
knows I do not mispronounce a thing. Our good mate Tim Cavalier writes in. Cavalier, I should say. I put the L in the wrong spot. See, you've thrown me off my horse.
you were already off the horse. You're on the ground, crumpled over in pain.
Yeah, getting trampled.
Hey, podcasters, please mention the IPMS Palooza Area Models Fall Show in your next episode. Show Off the Good Stuff will be held on Saturday, October the 5th, 2024 at the 1912 Centre in Moscow, Idaho. Just not very far away at all. It goes without saying you are all invited, especially those west of the Mississippi. Moscow, Idaho is located 250 miles north of Boise, Idaho.
Boise. It's Boise.
I think it's Boise, isn't it?
That's Boise.
All right, I'll take your...
Well, that's what I keep seeing, hearing pronounced in movies. Boise, Idaho.
It's 250 miles north of Boise, Idaho, 250 miles east of Seattle, Washington State, and a mere 75 miles south of Spokane, Washington State, I should say. God, you idiot, Dave. Flights are available to the local Moscow Pullman Regional Airport or to the Lewiston Nez Pierce County Regional Airport. Those attending are eligible for a ride to and from the airport in my vintage 1998 Ford Ranger.
Hey.
Gee, that's exciting. I hope to see everybody there. Please see the attached flyer for exciting show details. So the Show Off the Good Stuff, as I said, it's Saturday, October the 5th, 2024, Moscow, Idaho, the reception gallery in the 1912 Centre, 412 East 3rd Street. Model registration is 9 a.m. to noon. Awards presentation at 1:30 and public viewing goes from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. The show ends at 2:30.
That's a quick one,
That's
isn't
a
it?
really quick one. Free admission, unlimited model entries for $10. Store prizes, raffle, or silent auction. There you
Very
go.
cool. Should be a great show.
For more information, contact Scott Rowland at SCOTTROW23 at gmail.com. Very good.
Very cool.
That wraps up all of our emails. And, of course, if you want to write into us, you can send us an email to onthebench64 at gmail.com. I love reading your emails and getting all the words around the wrong way.
Yes.
You happy with that? I'll put that in
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. So make that a challenge to you, listeners.
No, shut up. I'll edit this bit out. I will. All right. Yeah.
Just before, I did look up the dimensions for that space station
Oh,
model,
yes.
and it's 50 centimeters by 40 centimeters by 74 centimeters.
Won't fit.
That's pretty big, isn't it?
Just
told
need to get
ya.
a bigger cabinet.
I knew it was too big even before you. That's why I would have bought it otherwise.
Okay.
But no. Unless I hang it from the ceiling.
Ooh. Then it becomes a dust magnet.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
No,
that's
don't
true,
do that.
yeah.
All right. Let's hear a short break. Let's have a short break, I should say. And we'll be back very shortly with the
Dave's lost where he is.
We'll be back. All right.
We'll be back.
Hi everyone, Peter Davis here from the ACT Scale Modeler Society and President of the club. We have Scale Out coming up on the 9th and 10th of November 2024, and we're looking forward to seeing you all then. We have 27 traders locked in at a huge events calendar with demos and presentations over the weekend, along with our new open judging category. So please have a look on Facebook, our website and YouTube for further information, and we look forward to seeing you all in November.
And welcome back to the show. And before we kick on to our main subject of the episode, which is talking about glues, we have our Patreon Wheel of Fortune to spin. All of our wonderful Patreon supporters are loaded into this, and the prize today comes from Wargame Miniatures, our good friend Bryant Roberts, who has models and wargaming supplies, and you can find it at www.wargameminiatures.com.au, and he has sent us a fantastic pack. We have 2 of the new deluxe precision plastic glues, as well as 2 of the really cool photo etched glues as well. And as well as that, we have a whole heap of wonderful
Sanding pads.
Thank you, Ian. Sanding pads. Again from
Here we go, Dave. All
from
prepared.
Delta Precision Tools. We've got them 1, 2, 3, 4 packets, and that'll be coming out to the winner. So how about we spin the wheel? And I don't need any sound effects, Ian, because I've got some to actually use. So, you ready?
Yeah, go.
And we're rolling.
Look at it spin.
Let's see who the winner is. It's Nick Sheridan. Nick Sheridan, you are the wonderful winner of this episode's Patreon Wheel of Fortune, and I'll be reaching out to you and contacting you and getting this stuff out to you in the mail. Again, thank you to Brian Roberts from Wargame Miniatures at wargameminiatures.com for sending us that stuff. Awesome.
Cool.
Yes, very good.
All right, on to the main subject of the show. We're talking about, and this idea came from one of our listeners who sent us an email, and he suggested that one of the things we should perhaps talk about is different glues. And I thought, you know what, I don't think we've actually really talked about glues on the show before.
Well, maybe we have, like I don't know,
After
7 years ago or something along those lines.
I can't remember. So glues, back in the old days, we had choices of
Revell, Airfix. That good old tube stringy glue.
and testers.
Testers, yes.
Now, the Humbrol glue used to come in that little metal tube that you'd take the top off and the glue would go all stringy as it came out.
Yep, same as the Airfix.
Did Airfix have a glue?
Yeah, Airfix had the same sort of stringy glue too.
Okay.
And then I remember we used to get some of those Japanese kits, like the Otaki kits. You used to get that little glue satchel.
Glue satchel?
Yeah. You know, you open it once and you got to build the model kit in within a certain amount of hours before your glue dries. Yes, them were the good old days.
Yeah. Luckily, we've progressed since then. And these days, you're actually spoiled for choice as to what you can actually use. But all of them come with their own pros and cons as well, which is something we need to dive into. So, first of all, I'm going to reach to what is my favourite glue, and I always go to it each time, is the Tamiya Extra Thin Cement.
Yes.
Yes.
The old green top bottles.
This one is designed, well, I want to say designed, that's probably a stupid word. This one works extremely well with polystyrene, which most models are made out of.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it works is by actually melting the glue.
Yes.
Melting the glue, you idiot, Dave. Melting the plastic, and so it you just sort of you push it together, and it sort of just
Yeah, but you don't
squeezes
push
out.
it together too hard, otherwise you deform it.
Let's not forget that the Tamiya Extra Thin is identical to their airbrush cleaner.
X20.
Is it X20, is it?
It's X20. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Is it? I've
Yes.
heard it isn't.
It's something like 1% off.
Yeah.
Right,
Like the ratios between the two chemicals.
right.
And the beauty about the Extra Thin is it comes with a little applicator. It's got like a little brush inside.
Yes.
And so you can have a part sitting together and you just run the little brush up along the part line.
And the other good thing about that,
and you wick in the glue.
and the other good thing about that brush is you always notice it when you get down to the very bottom of your bottle, and it's so hard to get the glue onto the brush.
Yeah.
You can actually pull that little section of the brush down.
Yes.
I mean, we're not saying anything that most modelers don't already know. But
Yes.
for those who don't, if you
It's
don't
new
know, you
information.
don't know, you know.
That's right.
So that's to me extra thin. There's another one that is an extra thin that comes in like a lemon flavour. It's got a yellow
there's-
top.
Oh, the limonene or whatever.
Limonene,
Yeah. Which is kind of weird.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't understand it.
I think it's just so it doesn't smell
Yeah.
as...
There's also the extra smelly, fast-acting one.
Yes.
Well, so that's just the plain Tamiya cement is the one that you're perhaps thinking of.
No.
No?
No.
There's another one.
There's another
Yeah.
one. It's like it's more yellow-green cap.
Right.
So it's a different color again from the standard green cap bottle.
Yep.
And it's I think a bit more smelly. And it works much faster.
Yeah. The only thing with that stuff that to me are extra thin is you got to make sure you don't put too much on that drips underneath your finger,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
because then you all of a sudden you've got a fingerprint in the middle of your plastic.
Yeah.
Oh, and you'll never send that out.
No, you got to fill it.
The next.
Tell me how I know.
Yeah. I've done the same thing. I've done the same thing for car models. It's the worst.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, and you know straight away as soon as it's happening.
And
you're like,
you
"Oh,
think
no."
you've sanded it out, and then you go and paint over the top of it. Oh, it's still there.
Yep.
It's still there.
Yep.
The next glue that I generally reach for is Tamiya cement, and this comes with the white top. It's a lot thicker, and
Doesn't dry as quick.
I tend to use this on parts that I want to make sure will definitely never sort of pop open. So I'm real.
Like ship holes and
The structural integrity of the part is important, and I'll use the Tamiya cement. And also it comes in a white. It's a lot thicker. It still comes with a brush applicator as well, but I find that it gives a stronger bond than what the normal extra thin does.
yes.
While we're on the topic of solvent glues, as we call them,
Solvent glues, that's a good word for it. Yes,
Yes.
perhaps the correct way of calling it.
yes, let's be professional, Dave.
Okay.
Let's not get too casual. The classic Revell with the metal needle.
Yes.
Throw that crap out.
Well, yes.
Yes.
Now, it's interesting you say because I used to use that as my go-to glue once upon a time.
Because it was precision.
Oh yes, so precision.
And, well,
And you always had to have a cigarette lighter handy
Yes.
because the stuff would always dry in the metal tube.
You know
and
what?
have to
I reckon
burn
that's
it up.
why people hang on to it because they love doing that.
Yeah, they get that little that whiff of smoke.
Yeah.
It comes out.
so
you go,
just to step back and give you a picture of what it is. It's like a blue bottle, and it's got a shape like
It sits on an angle too.
Yes, and it has a metal applicator that
like
comes...
a syringe sort of thing.
Yes. And so you just squeeze the bottle and the glue comes down the metal applicator and comes out a drop at the end.
Yep.
And
It's terrible because you can't portion out your the amount of glue you want properly. When it comes out, it all comes out.
yeah,
Yep.
and it tends to dry within that metal thing. So Ian was referencing the way you fix that is just get a cigarette lighter and just heat up the tube and it
Yep.
burns the glue off.
Burns the glue off, yeah.
I actually used to use that quite a lot, but I had a mishap with a model where I used that glue and it melted the plastic, so the plastic all went soft, and it took a good 2 weeks for it to harden, and I don't know what it was. or
See
the
what
problem was.
you don't know is that it seemingly hardened, and it would have been another 3 months perhaps before it was actually solid enough that you would never ever see it deform again.
Yeah, well, actually deformed the actual model to the point where
I've dealt with that sort of stuff, and what you think is solid, oh yeah, it's good enough to sand and putty up and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
nah.
and then it just keeps on going and going and going, and you're like, okay, you know what, I'll just leave it for a month, and you think, oh, that's enough, and then you start painting over the top of it. Oh, there it's popped up again. I've got dimples in the side of my ship hull. It never goes away.
no. So I don't use that stuff anymore.
Yes, and I'm glad
No,
you
I haven't
don't.
got mine.
No.
Oh,
You what?
I got rid of mine years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's honestly, it's better that you do.
Mm.
It's just too easy to overcook it, you know,
Yeah.
and then you've got a problem that lasts for months.
Yep. Put you on the back burner.
Still on the line of solvents, solvent glues.
Yes.
Ammo do one that's called Red Magenta Cement. And again, it's a solvent glue, but it's got a red colour to it, so you can actually see where you've put the glue down on the model.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good idea.
There is a similar one done by Mr. Hobby, Mr. Cement SP, again another solvent one. This is a, in their typical sort of Mr. Cement or Mr. Cement bottle, but it's got, again, another brush applicator as well.
It's a wide, square-bottomed.
And this one has a black tint to it, so you can see where the glue's gone. I find these two particularly good for when I'm doing very detailed matching of parts that I need to sand later on, because I can see where I've glued, and then when I'm sanding to get that seam out of it, I can see what's left and what hasn't sort of been reached yet.
Yes.
And I find that very helpful.
I should buy some of that stuff.
Whereas if you're using just the Tamiya Extra Thin Cement, because it's clear,
Yeah, you're not going to see it.
you're not going to get that visual reference. So I find those two quite helpful to go to, and they're not bad at all. In fact, I'd perhaps say that the Mr. Hobby Cement is a little bit superior to the ammo one in my use, but I'm sure that other people out there have had good success with the ammo one.
Do you think that the black colour beats the red colour
Um,
for visual?
I think for visual cues when I'm sanding, I think the Mr. Cement one beats the red one, I think, slightly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And all it is really is just a solvent that's had some sort of colouring added to it.
Yeah.
So then we come to the range of
Super glues.
super glues, which are known as, I can't get it.
Cyanoacrylate.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that word, Julian.
Okay.
And they come in a range of different ones. There's thick ones that take longer to cure, and there's very thin, runny ones
And then there's ultra thin running
that
ones.
cure pretty instantly. And then there's the ultra ones that sort of cure as they're coming out of the jar almost.
Some of them don't. I've had some super glues that don't react to accelerator.
Yes.
Well, what's the accelerator?
Well, the stuff that I use is the Bob Smith Industries stuff.
Okay, so the accelerator is used to make the super glue go off.
Yes. It basically makes it harden immediately.
Yep.
Or at least it should.
Yes.
If it doesn't, it means you got a problem. A compatibility issue. Now, I imagine the Bob Smith Industries accelerator works well with all of their super glues because they sell many different types of super glues. One of note is I've heard that the BSI gold
Yep.
labeled one is the one that doesn't fog your canopies.
Ah. 'Cause that's always a problem with super glues.
The only reason I haven't
plastic.
tried it and tested it myself is because I don't do canopies often enough, and super glue has a shelf life.
Yeah, I've always
Once you open it,
I've always steered away from using super glue with canopies.
and it's the kind of thing you can never buy a big amount of
No.
because
No.
it'll always go off.
Yep.
That's why I love the
That's why you stick it in the fridge.
right.
Yeah.
If you refrigerate it, it lasts so much longer.
Okay. Well, I always use the little tiny tubes, tiny tubes, and that's like okay. I know I'm going to go through.
What, the ones you buy from the supermarket?
Yeah, they come in packs of 2, and it's because like I know that it's like perfectly portioned and sealed off, so I can use one for one model and then just chuck it, and that's it. Throw it in the bin, like because by the time I've used up enough that it's becoming a problem that just keeps getting hard at the nozzle and all that sort of stuff, I've already used it all up.
I mean, I'm still a fan of the good old Loctite 406.
Loctite 406 is a brilliant super glue, and
Industrial strength.
it's expensive, and
Oh, yeah, it's not
but
cheap.
it's really, really good.
And you got to keep it refrigerated. So
That one in particular do, yes, because it dries out really quick. The downside of super glue is that it becomes quite brittle over age, and as a result, what you thought was a
strong, solid joint.
can in
Years
2,
time,
3,
just
4,
pop
5
apart.
years, whatever, just pop apart. I recently had that happen on one of my ship models. I had an Italian Corvette, and I had the infrastructure super glued down because it was a
Resin kit.
yes. And again, you can't use solvents on resin. You've got to use a super glue on resin to get that proper bond. And I was just at a model club meeting, and I had the model there for some reason. I think I was going to put it in a display or something. And I put it down on the bench, and I gave it a bit of a hard thump, and the superstructure just went boink, just popped right off. And it's not because I didn't use enough glue, because I do, trust me, I'll use a lot of glue and I'm gluing these things together. And it just parted along the lines. And so I've got it.
Usually with resin, I usually use a 2-part epoxy.
Well, we'll get into epoxies in a minute, because I want to talk to you about that, because they're good and they're bad and they confuse the heck out of me, but I'll discuss it in a bit more. I want to finish on super glues first. So super glues, as I said, you can get it in thin, medium, or ultra thin. And the thinner it is, the quicker it will go off. A lot of people also use the super glue for gap filling as well.
And photo etch.
Yeah. Which I tend not to use it for gap filling, only because I find, by and large, the super glue harder than the surrounding plastic.
It is, yes, which makes it so much more difficult to get a proper sand on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll only use it for that if I know it's not going to be a problem for that issue. Because certain use cases, it's fine. And I'm strapped for time and I just want to get it going,
Of late, I've been using the Bob Smith Industry ones, only because I find the applicator less prone to drying in the tip.
I've been buying the aftermarket applicators. The ones you slide on.
Yep.
And they go into this really really hair thin tube.
Oh, yeah.
That comes out of them. They're really handy.
Oh, okay. But you're going to throw it away once you use it, though?
No.
Really?
No, they last for ages. I found that they... I've had one on one tube now for 5 months.
Okay. Gee, that's a long time.
And it works fine.
That's interesting.
The other thing with super glue is I would recommend that you don't apply it directly to the model. Put it onto a dish and then use some sort of applicator to take the glue to the part.
You can buy photo etch applicators online from most hobby stores.
You can make your own. I've got a needle, so if you can imagine a needle with the loop at the end,
sewing needle, and you cut half the loop away.
Yes.
So you're left with like 2 little prongs. So
yes.
But you only cut the very top off.
Yes. And I find that a perfect applicator. And
when it dries on there, you just get your cigarette lighter and you burn it off.
There you go. Perfect. It works every time. So that's the good thing about it in regards to you can get right into sort of very delicate parts, and you only need to use a little bit just to sort of touch it and sort of hold it. And that's the other good thing too for when I'm doing railings on ships, for example. And we'll talk to the next one shortly about what I use for that. But I'll use super glue just at the very end just to sort of tack it down. It's almost like a tack weld. I'll use it as a tack weld. All right, well, that's super glues. Let's move on to the next one, which is white glue, for the want of a better word.
Basically a kind of PVA glue, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. Now, PVA glue is awesome for when you're doing...
woodworking.
Yes.
It works best on things that are porous. But
it's
plastic's not porous.
No, but it is also very good for when you're doing photo etch. And there's 2 reasons for this. Number one, it gives you a lot of time before it goes off to move the part. And when it dries clear as well.
Yeah, clearish.
No, the ones I use drew clear. So my favourite to use is Gator's Grip.
Yep.
Which is an acrylic hobby glue, they call it, non-toxic. And again, I use a small applicator that I've made, and it might sometimes be just as simple as a toothpick, or I might even get a brush sometimes and get a very tiny brush and brush on the glue onto the part, and then I can just wash the brush out in water afterwards. Deluxe have just recently released a precision applicator, which has like a syringe, for want of a better word, and that's part of the stuff that Nick Sheridan's going to get. And that comes, so you just squeeze that out, and it comes out much like the Revell contact glue does. I've been using that on the most recent build, and it's not bad stuff actually. It does its job and holds it in place.
Cool.
Which is really good.
Well, it's probably got the weakest bond of any of the glues.
And that's part of the problem with it as well, because it does have a weak bond. And hence, as I said, I tend to use a little bit of super glue just to tack weld the part down before sealing the rest off against the model.
You can use it to an advantage, though. You can use it to hold things in place temporarily.
Yeah, yeah.
For mock-up purposes or for masking and things like that. It's a niche use, but it's something that you can... see, that's the thing. People will use it for canopies because like, it dries clear. It makes sense to use it for canopies, right?
And it doesn't fog.
But long gone are the days when the window part of the canopy goes all the way up to the edge of the part.
Yes.
So less and less now is there a reason for you to use it.
I think it's just a habit now.
Yeah, as long as you've got, you're neat and you're clean and you don't make mistakes, you're probably better off using a solvent glue to attach your canopy because it's going to adhere. But you're still going to have to clean paint off the mating surfaces.
Yes.
Because you can't do that with solvent glue.
No.
But you can do that with a white glue.
Yep.
You can just leave that paint on there.
Which is another important point we did fail to mention. So when you're using the solvent glue, you must make sure that the paint the surfaces are clear of any paint, so you get a proper sort of weld.
Yeah. Now the other thing is with super glue, I like to remove the paint because no matter how strong the super glue is, and usually you use super glue because it's got very good strong adhesion.
It's only going to be as strong as the paint adhesion to the plastic.
That's right. That's why you're better off just scraping that away.
Still on the subject of the white glue,
yes,
that is also very good for when you're doing scenes as well and dioramas. It's fantastic for attaching, rocks and other parts to
exactly. It's the bread and butter of diorama people.
Yes,
and for that you can go to any hobby store and just get your normal PVA glue.
Get some Mod Podge.
Isn't Mod Podge also a type of white glue?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the beauty about the PVA glue is you can actually water it down so you can make it really thin to suit your needs. And it's just by adding a bit of water and sort of mixing it, and you can get a really sort of thin.
And if it hasn't fully dried, you can still remove excess with
I do love
towel.
that.
with water and a towel or a Q-tip or cotton bud or whatever.
Yep. Works 100%. It's really good. Any other sort of glues that we've missed? Or
and it's got
think about?
Once it is dry, it's a bit kind of like silicone, I guess you could say. You can sort of rub it away.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, with your finger. Yeah. If you rub on it.
After it's dry. No.
After it's dry, and
Really?
there's if it's caked on there, you can just sort of rub it away.
I've never caked it on. I don't cake stuff on.
Yeah, but sometimes you find it sort of a clump of it, then you missed it, and you're like, okay, well, and you just sort of rub it with your thumb, and it just comes off.
Yeah.
Because it's got, like I said, it's got poor adhesion.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to? Well, we haven't spoken about the two-part epoxies.
Oh yes, we're going to get two-part epoxies.
Good old.
I've never tried a two-part epoxy.
Araldite's great.
Because I just can't be bothered.
Pieces.
I can't be bothered. I've never needed to go for such a nuclear option for gluing things.
I find if I'm working on something that's got large resin blocks and needs solid glue.
Whenever I
Araldite.
think of that, I automatically think of your
Titan.
Your Titan, because they're just like big fist-sized pieces of resin that are like an inch thick at their thinnest.
Yes.
So what's a two-part epoxy? Let's just take a step back. How does it usually appear when people go to purchase it?
Well, the Araldite, it's usually you got either like a double syringe.
Yep.
And one's got the part A and part B. Ask me what they are.
Yeah.
I'm not a chemist. And you just squeeze it out.
Mix it up
till it goes to a milky, creamy consistency, and then apply it. And usually this takes about 5 to 10 minutes to dry.
Now the problem,
but once it's dried, it ain't moving ever.
Yeah. The problem I've had with two-part epoxies is
they stink.
Well, I don't really care about that. is the storage of the epoxy afterwards. I've had a lot of trouble where it has mixed in the tip. Like I've had one that's like a double syringe together with part A and part B in both ones, and you push down in the syringe and it comes out the end, and it's the end bit that tends to get mixed
that's
up.
why when you finish with it, you wipe it clean.
Yeah, with what?
An old rag.
Yeah, no, I've still had
And
issues.
what I do also
It's the storage
is
in
the storage is once I've finished, I put it in a Ziploc bag.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Once I finish with using the glue, I
Yeah.
get the applicator
Yeah.
with the glue in it, and I put it in a Ziploc bag and close it.
What does that do?
Well, it just stops it in case, because occasionally they do have a leak,
Yeah,
and the last thing you want is that gunk all through your drawer.
yeah.
So if it does have a leak,
And I've had that problem where it's continued to leak afterwards.
yeah, and you just keep it in a Ziploc bag, well, you know it's not going to contaminate anything else.
The geeks swear by, or certainly D-Rand swears by, two-part epoxy for doing things like undercarriages and stuff on aircraft because it gives you a bit of work time to get it set right. And
Once it's set,
that's it, yeah.
it'll never move.
Yeah.
Stuff brilliant.
I've
I
always
love it.
wanted about trying the Tamiya two-part epoxy, which comes in the form of like a pen.
Ooh.
All right.
That's
I
interesting.
think the idea is that it's got like the two ends are different. The two or something along those lines. It's like a square-shaped pen.
Oh, look into that.
I've never tried it, but it would be a very sort of shallow entry to the world of two-part epoxy.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm going to have a look at that while we're talking.
Mm.
So any other sort of glues that you can think
Well,
of?
there's also like epoxy putty, which can be used in a kind of glue-like fashion, I suppose, if you want to build up areas and shape them, and it's almost like Play-Doh in that, but that goes hard.
Yep.
Yeah, but is that a glue though?
Well, I mean, you can sort of use it as such.
I'm having a quick look for you, Tamiya epoxy, but it's coming up just as putty.
I
and-
don't think they call it epoxy.
No, I'm not finding it.
They
It's
can't
saying
find it.
it's saying putty.
Putties.
Putties. Any other glues that we've missed or thought about? I'm still a stand that you're buying that cheap stuff from the supermarket.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I just
If it
don't.
works for him.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like that I can just use it, throw it away, and then I got a fresh one. Just grab another one.
So you just a one-time use with it.
No, not just one time. Like I'll keep it going for as many times as I can get out of it. But I'm not gonna I've bought like Bob Smith Industries once, and they just go hard, and I end up just bloody cutting down the nozzle thing on the top with a pair of scissors or whatever until
Until you got a really massive aperture.
until you just got like this little until there's not much left, and then I have to I'm having to like dip inside the actual bottle to
Well,
get.
you got to
what's-
get those aftermarket applicators. You just slip on the end.
Yeah.
Now, there's some more aftermarket applicators for super glue, and you've got one in from
Display,
and
which I'd never use anymore.
so how does that work?
Well, basically, it was like this aluminium
Mushroom shape.
No, it wasn't a mushroom. It was like a block, and it had these two little, it was like polished metal mushrooms in there that you could remove at one time till the glue ran over the side and pretty much fused them in there. And it came with these little photo etch applicators.
Right.
And basically what you do is you put your super glue on top of one of these little mushrooms and use the applicator to get your tiny little amount of glue, apply it, and so forth.
And did you... The applicators, can you reuse them? Like, can you
Yeah. You
just burn it off?
Just burn it off with a cigarette lighter.
Yeah, okay.
Put it under a flame and it goes sizzle, sizzle, pop, and a little bit of smoke comes off and it's ready to rock and roll.
I think the Tamiya two-part pen thing is just CA.
Oh, dear.
it's just
Okay.
yeah.
There you go.
CA being the other name for super glue, if you
Yes.
didn't know,
Yes.
which is short for cyanoacrylate, but yeah,
There you go.
people just shorten it to CA sometimes.
The only last thing with talking in regards to PE, and I know we've touched on this before, but some people actually solder their PE photo etch together.
If you're doing large sections, it's definitely a good idea.
Yeah. I'd be cautious about that by putting too much heat in it and warping the actual part.
Yeah, well, you just got to practice with some Spares.
Well,
It's a
see,
photo etch.
you've seen how I am with glue. Imagine me with solder.
It's a matter of practice. It's like anything.
You burn your workshop. down.
Any horror incidents or issues you've had with glues that you've done? That's a cautionary tale to our listeners.
Basically, the one every modeler can attest to is having the old fingerprint from the to me extra thin.
Yeah. Done that.
Well, the other thing, if you're mentioning CA, is debonding,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is a good
that's
thing to keep nearby.
So handy to have too, especially when you're doing like tiny, you're super gluing tiny bits of photo etch on something,
Especially if you're super gluing your fingers together.
and you just get a bit of debonder on a cotton bud or a Q-tip and just run it over the top, and where the glue is set underneath the photo etch, it doesn't touch, but everywhere else it wipes the glue away.
Oh, that's clever.
Great stuff. It's awesome.
I find that it's similar to Accelerator, where it works on some but not other CAs.
Yep.
I guess that's when you get in the accelerator and the debonder, stick with the same manufacturer of the super glue you're using, because
Exactly.
then you know it's going to work. Whereas the formulas might be slightly different, or the ingredients might be slightly inferior with when you're trying to mix them between manufacturers.
Now, another method I've heard used is people will use clear
Clear what?
paint to adhere like photo etch and things.
Yes, I've heard of that as well.
Oh yeah, like a
Well, back in the day, people used to use future floor polish for that sort of thing, and I wouldn't recommend that for anything other than your floors.
Never used Future.
I used it once. I didn't have a bad experience, but I wasn't so enthused that I'd use it again.
Yeah, I remember someone I know used it on an aircraft model, and it looked great for a few years, and then it just started to crack.
Yeah, it's a good mate from Apollo Bay.
Yeah. But I mean, like that's a bit different. That's using it as a paint or a clear coat. That's not quite the same as using it as a glue, which is I think a very desperate action.
Yeah.
Like
Desperate or inspired? Because
no, I think it's desperate because even the people who gladly boasted that they use it for those, they know that it's not as good as an actual glue, like super glue.
Yeah, but it's good for just perhaps tacking something together and then coming back and gluing it later on.
Like you're going to be able to just grab that part and you just rip it off without any effort. It's not a proper glue. It's just some gummy kind of thing that will hold it in place if you don't touch it.
Well,
Which is how I see a lot of white glue anyway.
Yes.
Gummy stuff that holds something in place because it's surrounding or attached, it's in contact with the surface.
Yep.
But really, there's no bonding going on there.
No. It's very weak.
It is. It is right. Well, my only sort of faux pas have done with Tamiya Extra Thin, where we were doing the Models for Heroes 48-hour build, and I was doing a bare metal P47, and the glue sort of spilt down, and I got it on my thumb, left a thumbprint there, and I took that back to plastic and even back a little bit further, and then when I sprayed the metal finish on again,
It was
sure
right
enough,
there again.
there was that thumbprint.
Oh, it's worse when you get it on a canopy.
Oh,
Give up.
That's usually that canopy is now going.
and of course I've glued fingers together and
Everyone's glued
things together I shouldn't have glued together with super glue, and I don't mind gluing my fingers together because it's kind of fun afterwards. You get to peel it off your fingers. It's like dipping your finger in wax and peeling it off when you're a kid.
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So that's not unpleasant. It's I guess when you glue different parts of your body together, it shouldn't be glued. It can be a bit like your eye or something like that.
Your eye.
Well,
Okay.
I've heard of people sort of getting glue in their eye and their eyelids.
So the other thing to worry about is super glue does have a gas that comes off and will attach to fingerprints that you have left on clear parts.
CSI.
Yes.
Crime scene
But
investigators.
It also works without your fingerprints, so it'll just fog up your canopy like with white fog, and you'll have no way to get it off other than sanding and polishing.
Headsy and I prefer to use the white glue for canopies.
Yes, But I mean, like I said, there are super glues that don't do that.
I'm going to have to investigate. So you think it's Bob Industries, the gold one that
Yes,
does that?
the gold
Oh,
one.
I'll have to look
That's
into
on.
that.
That's a tip I got from Gibbs.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yes.
All right. We'll have to look at that.
Definitely.
But I mean, yeah, it's a risky. I've only ever had one situation where that's happened to me, and that was when I was building the Tamiya Feisler Storch, which is just made out of canopies. You know, it required like this metal spar, this
That's
big
right,
thick
yeah.
piece of metal that goes in the wing
Yeah.
to connect from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Like because it's got a very thin wing, and it's like windows on the sides, windows on the top, windows in the front, in the back, on the underside. It's windows everywhere. It's just nothing but glass.
Well, that's just an observation aircraft.
Yeah, and so like I just got a fogged cannon. And I was like, oh, this is stuffed. It's not an easy model to build
I can imagine.
because it even comes with a little like it's got a part of like the fuselage and the canopy fused together as one part,
Yeah.
right? And it's got a little like a leg of sprue that is attaching one to the other so that as a support, because otherwise it would break off otherwise because it's so precariously designed.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things where you got to decide, like, do I clip that off now and just treat it carefully, or do I cut it off later? And
Yeah, the decisions.
yeah, it's a very, very delicate, fine little model, isn't it?
Oh yes, it is.
It is.
I had one. That was their 100th anniversary. Their 100th 48 scale aircraft kit, I think, or 48 scale kit. Well, that was 100.
I think I've still got, because I replaced that model because I was like, I'm gonna do this kit at some point. I think I might sell mine though.
Yeah, sold mine. Got rid of it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna sell that. I'll, next time we have like a raffle thing or something like that, I'll just throw
Just
it in there.
donate it. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? It's a lovely model, and I'd love to build it, but I just don't care about aircraft at the moment.
All right, I think that brings us to the end of the show. Talking about glues and stuff, and be interested to hear what you guys got to say about what glues that you prefer and what you use. And
Well,
I'd be just as interested to hear what sort of mistakes you've made as well. Funny ones.
I only really use two glues: the Tamiya Extra Thin and the little tiny just super glue from the supermarket.
Yeah.
I know how.
And it
I know
works.
I'm familiar with it. I know how it behaves. So
That's it. What you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Don't forget to send us an email about your suggestions for our 200th show. We'd be extremely interested to see what you, our listeners, want to see us do. You can send us an email to onthebench64@gmail.com. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors of the show. So to Wargame Miniatures, Brian, for sending that giveaway pack for our Patreon Wheel of Fortune. Of course, Scott Taylor from Scale Model Supply, and Black Hat Scale Models YouTube channel. Our good friend Stuart out there, who's just recently published a episode on using the new AK pens. Paint pens.
Paint pens, yes.
Which,
And thank you to him for the coffee mugs that we're using.
yes, we have been using them.
Yes. Yeah, so
Every morning, every breakfast, we now use that.
So go check out our good friend Stuart at Black Hat Scale Models on YouTube.
Awesome
and
guy.
subscribe to his show as well, so you're notified for each time he drops an episode. Alrighty, that brings us. And one last thing, of course, don't forget there's a whole heap of other wonderful podcasts for you to listen out there. Go to podcast.com, which is an aggregate site run by our good friend Stuart from up in Canada, listing all of the wonderful podcasts that you can listen to. I think that's about it from me. Ian.
That's about it for me. Have happy modelling, everyone.
Julian, you won't be here next show because you're off
Yes.
overseas in Korea, so Ian and I'll have to find some ringing.
Yeah, I know.
Don't know who yet. We'll find someone.
Yeah, cardboard cutout.
Probably a bit more intelligent than what we got here.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh.
At least I can read properly, Dave.
Oh. And it flies.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll be back in a fortnight.
See ya.